So it was raw.
It was a raw egg, and I'm glad she dropped it on the floor before she cracked it on her desk.
Okay. I thought for a minute I thought you were saying that she was handing out eggs at work. Okay, yeah, good. We're rolling.
Oh no.
That's just her diet. That is just her diet, huh? Excellent. Hey, Ashley, where are you at? Where are you located?
I'm currently located in Albany, New York.
Oh.
Where I live right now.
Okay.
But I'm born and raised from Buffalo, New York.
Okay. Cool. Born and raised in Buffalo. I'm in Hyattsville, Maryland, just out of DC.
I'm familiar.
A couple of blocks walking distance from DC.
Nice.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm just getting ready because I'm about to head into my car and get driving to my partner's house. But I'm listening. I'm here.
Gotcha. Excellent. Ashley, do you remember what your first thoughts of the morning were? What did you wake up to this morning? What were you thinking about this morning?
This morning, I was waking up thinking about this really bizarre dream that I had.
Okay.
I had a dream that my partner and I were looking at houses to try and figure out what we were going to design our future house to look like.
Okay.
And we walked into this house, and it was like a labyrinth, and we got lost, and then we ended up in like this secret cave, and then we had to do like these national treasure type extravagant things to get out of the house. And it was just really, really interesting and strange. And so yeah, I had a very interestingly bizarre dream, and that was the first thing I woke up this morning, and I was like, that was kind of strange. I'm gonna turn on the news so I have like background noise to drown the rest of this out, because it was weird.
What do you think that's about, the dream?
Well, my partner and I are very in the preliminary stages of our relationship, but they and I are very specific on where we are and what we want and where we want to go.
Okay.
They are an urban developer and architect, and so they do urban planning and architecture and building management, commercial property development and management. And we've been talking about building a house, and we've kind of gotten really serious about it.
Okay.
And so I think that we both have these visions of kind of like what we want the house to look like, or what we think the house is going to be. And it's like we're jumping through all of these different hoops to try and like come to like one agreement and consensus on like, okay, like this is what we're going to do. And so I think that's kind of what the dream was about, like us going through the process of these hoops together. And like, it was interesting because at one point in time we got into like, I'm like, what are you doing? So it's just like, I don't understand. This makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? And they like explained what they were doing. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Cool. Like, let's go on to the next part. And so I think that was really funny because even in my dreams, it's really representative of how we move, both as individuals and as a unit. So yeah.
When you say the preliminary stages of your relationship, how do you define that? By how old it is, or the stuff you guys are on?
Yeah, I think I define it by physical natural time.
Okay.
So physical natural time, we have been together, we've been dating since September.
Okay.
We've known of each other for about 2 years.
Okay.
But we weren't in each other's immediate circles up until like September. And so, or this summer, I'll say. And then we went out for dinner, and
it clicked.
That was that.
Okay.
Yep.
And now you're buying houses together.
We're building a house together.
Building, that's even more intense. Building a house together. You know, I think that sometimes when it works, it works. Sometimes when it works.
I think they and I kind of are at this point where it's just like, we're both happy, we're content, and we both feel like this is going to be a long-term thing, but we're both accepting that right now, you're what's good for me, I'm what's good for you. That's enough.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you say your partner is a woman?
Human, man.
A man. Okay, got you. Let me ask you, what was your prevailing? Once you got the dream out your head, what was your prevailing thought through the course of the day?
My prevailing course of thought through the day was I was very anxious today.
Why? What's up?
Because I knew I had to. There's a paper. I'm in grad school.
Okay. What are you studying?
Master's.
What are you studying?
Social work.
Okay. Okay.
Get my master's in social work. I am one semester away.
Oh.
So close. From being done.
Okay.
But I've had this paper that I've been dreading writing for my program evaluation class. And so I've been putting it off. And the professor gave me an extension until tomorrow. And so I was like, I really need to sit down and do it. And stop playing around.
Did you do it?
So I wrote out everything, all my thoughts. So at this point, I just need to go back and like edit it. Okay. But I've been sitting here working on it since 3 o'clock, and my brain is like tired. So this is a welcome break. A welcome break.
The gist that I get from your IG profile, you come across as very confident.
Oh.
You come across as very confident. I did have the opportunity to listen to your podcast, and it's a couple of things I want to talk to you about when it comes to your podcast and about your profile. The first one being the confidence thing. Okay, I get that from your profile. I get that from your podcast, and we share a lot of different of the same views as far as self-care too. All right, so let's back up to the confidence part. Would you describe yourself as confident?
I do. I believe that I'm learning how to walk better in my truth every day, and that is where I find my confidence. I have learned over these last few years of life that confidence isn't something that you get or that can be given to you. Okay. And it doesn't matter how many likes you get on the post. It doesn't matter who says what, who's attracted to you, who thinks you're cute, none of that matters. And that true confidence comes from understanding, accepting, and liking, like just basic liking who you are. Like, there are some days where I can be extremely frustrated with me, but you know what? I'll be like, you know what? At least I like me today. Okay. I like the human that I am. I like where I'm going. I like what I'm building towards. I may have been irresponsible yesterday, and that's why I got a hangover, but I like who I am for the most part. And so I think that, for me, is what is important. And that confidence comes from the fact of, like, there's nothing that you can do, nothing that anyone can say that can really shake the fact that I'm okay with who I am, and I'm cool with the skin that I'm in, and I like me.
How long did it take you to get there?
Years. Years. It was not, and it's one of my mantras of life is that growth isn't linear. And so I'm in a season right now where I'm feeling and I'm accepting and walking in my confidence. Okay. And that season waxes